research skills. Before we create, we do our research.
Hi, this is Bernie Goldbach. Let's talk about the research skills and how they fit into making and creating and sharing content. Sophisticated digital literacies are part of an overall process. Research is the first stage. We'll start first with the goal of trying to take a team of young people and train them how to locate, how to extract, organize, and use information. These important research skills help create good audio stories. You need to know what you're going to talk about before you open the mic and identify what the topic is. Start first, perhaps, by identifying key people. In the case of the Irish youth media team, sometimes they get a chance to talk to the Minister for Education in a wide open forum in the middle of a teaching conference. You can get ideas from workshops, looking at the program of events, checking out the names of people, the main topics that are going to be discussed, the crossflow between professional organizations, teaching unions, or between fraternal organizations and people who are just there, sharing information professionally or personally, engaging with an audience by bringing content or ideas to the floor. The youth media team, by looking at what's being discussed in the program, can often get an idea about what's next. You can search for the main presence of the person that you're trying to get a hold of. In the case of Sean Kelly, a minister of the European Parliament in Brussels, it's very easy to figure out what the presence is he brings to his seat and what kind of expectations you may have while looking at what he's doing in his seat in the European Parliament. You can research hashtags by going to Google and looking up the term CESI. That shows you the Computers and Education Society of Ireland has a presence online. You can also dive into just the images portion of CESI to find out what other kind of collateral exists there. The images are pretty interesting. The Youth Media Team of Ireland has been part of CESI since 2014 and have been able to dive in looking at what the hashtags tell you about CESI by the images that are there in front of the flow that's discovered by just searching for CESI. Let's start by selecting questions that make sense for the people or the ideas or the organizations that you're going to talk to. It's best to write the questions down and then to review them before you take it into a session. You can relate the questions of the research that you've gained to a theme. The conference here, the Data Summit, allowed the students to sit and listen to presentations that keynoted the event before diving in and talking to people that provided more content about the event. It's good to relate questions to a person. Joe Schmidt's the Irish rugby coach. He's a coach. He's a parent. He's a former school principal, and he's from another country. By relating questions to the person himself, to Joe Schmidt himself, it's easy to get a story that you may not expect. By diving into people you want to look at, in this case Simon Lewis, it's possible to see what he's reading, what he's talking about, what's interesting to him, what kind of material might be on his bookshelf, might be on his reading list, on an application on his phone. By researching the timeline of somebody that you're about to see, you can also discover what they're interested in and what they'd like to share during an interview process. You can relate questions to a visual item as well. It could be a logo, could be a piece of technology. It could be something that just jumps out in terms of a photo stream on Instagram or on Flickr or on Google Images. It's best once you have these ideas about the person or the place or the theme to refine your questions, to try to figure out, can the questions form part of a story? And can the story be really engaging to grab someone's interest, to take them to another level, to segues that you may discover by cross-checking your questions with friends or other people who are going to do the same kind of interviews with another person or another theme at the same event. All these thoughtful queries, when you research them and create them in the form of a narrative structure, are part of being digitally literate. Thoughtful queries enhance your own digital literacy. Sophisticated digital literacies are things you have to pick up as skills, develop them as teenagers, and carry them on further into your own adult education. We focus on critical thinking and intertextual analysis, two digital literacies that just happen to come to the forefront if you research what you're going to try to do when you interview somebody with an audio setting. The Hong Kong University points out in 2020, among the top 10 skills are complex problem solving and critical thinking. All these skills, creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving when you're on your feet, are part of foundation elements of digital literacy. Intertextual analysis allows us to look at a word and take it to an image or a concept and take it to a fragment of conversation, relate intertextually between what's written on the question sheet you might have to what someone may want to display as a word story or a visual image that they describe as they tell you more about the answer to the question that you want to raise. Catherine Cronin is an expert at this, exploring digital intertextual relationships. All these things come bubbling to the top through good preparation. Good prep helps you avoid surprises that might be there. The big takeaway, good research makes great stories. Really good stories are backed up by research. You can see the stories the youth media team has done by using the hashtag YMTFM or searching for the youth media team from Ireland on your podcatcher. Images are from the youth media team on Flickr, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Thanks for listening to this small segment about developing your research skills.